What's up, guys? It's your boys Wokey back out with some more, of course, of the Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger videos. And today, by popular demand, you guys have been asking me for crime catalysts, the darkest of the Watts case, like dark, because it's a part 3, and you guys want me to watch it. So I wanted to give her a few days on her video, obviously to get her views and so forth. But I definitely want to see what she has to say about the darkest of the Watts case, part 3, hashtag Nicole Kessinger as well. So grab a chair, get comfortable. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that's Wokey myself has posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you so much for the love and support. And then speaking of love and support, go over to Crime Catalyst, give her some love, subscribe, comment, like, and share. She's so close to 11,000 subscribers. So go give her some love. And with that being said, I need a haircut. And let's get into the video.
This shocked me just as much as I think it shocked the rest of the world.
Chris Watts confessed to killing his young daughters and his pregnant wife in Colorado out in 2018. And since then, he's been locked up in prison. But now, in August 2018, brutal took place in Frederick, Colorado. A pregnant mother named Shanann Watts and her 2 daughters were killed. Her husband, Chris Watts, spoke with both police and the media, saying he had no idea where his family was and he just wanted them back home safe. He admitted he was having an affair with a woman named Nicole Kessinger, who he met through work. The affair had been going on for several months.
A dramatic moment, cops confront Chris Watts' mistress after he and his pregnant wife and 2 daughters to start a new life with her.
Police spoke with Kessinger about her connection to the case.
Am I in trouble for religious sex?
You're in trouble.
I didn't know what was going on at that point.
See, this communication or this discussion between both of them, that raises complete eyebrows. And that. Red flags.
So, why would you wipe out your family?
Why would you wipe out your family to be with me? Because you told them to.
The just-released video shows 30-year-old Nicole Kessinger being interrogated. Is there concern that you're hiding something? Potentially. Did you ever say anything with him about her?
Never.
Sobbing over the gruesome fate of the children, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste.
He's so disgusting. I'm so ashamed of him. Why? How? I don't even understand how.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, you could like bring yourself to do that to somebody who's like that big.
We've spent literal months talking about the dark things in the Watts case, and we're still not done.
This woman was targeting him in order.
It's like really scary. If you guys haven't watched my other parts of watching her videos, like we're talking like Dead Scroll kind of darkness, the Orient, or how do they say, the O.T.O, Witchcraft, like it gets really like creepy.
To ritualize his marriage. This woman in and of herself was not in human form when she went after Chris Watts. She stalked him. There was a disassociation from the human frame with this mistress, and there was an energy that came.
She made a drink for him that was a very weird looking kind of tea consistency, and she didn't drink it. Only he did.
With her that went after Chris Watts. And there's some element of energetic manipulation. She stepped out, someone stepped in, and they went after Chris. The mistress became his downfall.
Oi.
It's just like, let me just see how this plays out.
Let me just see how this plays out.
And it was really exciting. Like, I liked helping him. This is what he told me he wanted. So I was like, well, I will help you.
How far would she go? Death?
Don't be my grave without a name, but earth may swallow up my shame.
I was like trying to push him to do it. Like, he seemed pretty reluctant to do it. He didn't want to.
Like, I try to go back in my head. I was like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it.
I was like trying to push him to do it. He didn't want to. He seemed pretty reluctant to do it. I was like trying to push him to do it, and he didn't want to.
I didn't want to do this.
How hard can it get?
Want to do this, but I did it.
It's hard. This was like the dream job. I feel awful. The dream job. I feel awful about all of this. Like, I wanted that for so long to get out of the oil field. I was so tired of living on oil rigs. It's such a rough life. I just want to be in the office and working environmental for an oil company. And I finally got it, and all this happened. Finally got it, and all this happened.
Oh, I just get so mad.
Nicole Lee Kessinger was into some dark things. She carried around crystals, traveled to ceremonial places, had knowledge about powerful magic and rituals, and then she set her eyes on Chris Watts. She had a spiritual advisor, and God only knows what she needed one of those for. Was he a teacher, a guide? They're sometimes called spiritual counselors, energy healers, transformational friends.
Well, he was 72 for crying out loud.
They are someone to assist another in their fully awakening to the fullness of being.
Those eyes are creepy.
They might be called a guru, rabbi, mentor, mystic, witch doctor.
These people are very rare. They have always been there and always will be. They live on different continents and pray to different gods. But they all have abilities that are beyond explanation. Their words are prophetic. Their undertakings sometimes contradict the laws of physics. The mysterious chosen ones. The people of knowledge.
A witch doctor can be comparable to a medicine man. They might also be called a shaman, wizard, healer, sorcerer, necromancer, conjurer, or voodooist. Nicole Kessinger was very sneaky. She went to great lengths to hide information.
Look, it looks the same. Look at that. That is weird. Look. What is that? Is that face like purposely done like that? Ugh. She looks like the Joker.
Especially information about the conversations she had with her friends.
I don't have to ask anything more than, "Hi, Chris. My name's Kevin. Or Jim." And I'm not saying you have to give it to you.
Leave Jim alone.
If at some point,
why would a CBI agent just be like, "Yeah, okay, we're not going to talk to him"? If it helps the case, they should be talking to him.
She was very upset about having to give the investigators access to her phone and her communications with her friend Jim and her best friend Charlotte.
Have all that. I just was like, oh my god, I just want to text on here between me and all my friends. I'm like, do they really want all this stuff?
well, is there anything in those texts that you'd be concerned with?
Not really.
So, well, not really, or yes or no?
No, I mean, like,
The only reason we even know about her so-called spiritual advisor is because of online sleuths looking through her phone records. She got incoming calls from her spiritual advisor at 2:28 and 2:35 on the
when she finally got to work. She didn't work the whole day. She came there right at that time, called him, and then left at 3. And that's not something that needs to be looked at?
day of the murder. His name is Robert Edsardi, and he has a background in computer sciences. It's really not known exactly what his role was. What exactly was he advising Nicole about? Typically, they teach the way to attain wealth, notoriety, and power. They might teach you how to grow your bank account, money secrets, secure your future, or something more sinister. This spiritual advisor was said to be a part of the O.T.O. The O.T.O. is a religious group or a cult who practices yoga, meditation, ceremonial magic, ritual nudity, and more.
Crazy.
Hey, witch doctor, give us the magic words.
With her spiritual advisor being a part of the O.T.O., I would think there's a high probability that he may have been a witch doctor who might be trained in herbs, magic, and religious rituals. Someone you might call on to denounce works of evil magic.
Oh, little sicky seems to be the pain. Got all these herbs, don't mean a fucking thing. I'm a little witch with magic tricks. Come and get your fix. Crystals, razor like the taste of orange peel. Open the mind, change the mind is how we achieve. Can't hurt to try, right, is what I believe. Witch doctor, witch doctor.
You might recognize this little tune. It's a novelty song about someone seeking advice from a witch doctor to win someone over, with the witch doctor responding in a high-pitched, nonsensical chant.
What did you do?
I told the witch doctor I was in love with you.
What did you
I
do?
told the witch doctor I was in love with you. And then the witch doctor, he told me what to do. He said that.
What did you do? What did you do, Chris? What did you do? And then, and I kept asking him too, like, what did you do, Chris? What did you do? What did you do, Chris?
The idea is that the witch doctor is giving them this string of gibberish that they would then repeat back to their love interest. This gibberish or chant will subconsciously make the person lower their defenses and fall madly in love.
Oh, so you're telling me this song, they think... I don't know. Okay.
They will be convinced that she is the person that he wants to be with.
What did you do, Chris? What did you do? I didn't hurt my family, Nikki. And he was like, I didn't do anything. I'm like, where's your family? But I was still like in my head, just kind of like stressed out. If you did something bad, I was like, you're gonna ruin your life. And I was like, and if you did something bad, I was like, you're gonna ruin my life. And I was like, and I promise you that.
In my last video, I said I would share my theory, but didn't actually get around to explaining it in
Yes, I want to know her theory.
detail. But now I'm going to walk you through what I think could have happened and how this thing progressed into what it ultimately became. And we're going to get into some more dark things.
I'm a little scared. You are the forbidden fruit that I can't resist.
If Nicole was a part of the O.T.O. or had close friends associated with the O.T.O., then there's no doubt in my mind that she was practicing dark magic and rituals. If you're not familiar with the belief system of the O.T.O., then stick around because we're going to get into it. But before we get there, we got to work backwards a little bit. We got to go back to the beginning, to Nicole's teenage or early adulthood years. We got to go back to when I believe she first started dabbling in witchcraft. Some of my statements might be stated as fact, but it's all alleged and it's just for the purpose of explaining the theory.
We can't say it's factual.
Nicole studied in science and Earth's minerals and allegedly dabbled in witchcraft long before she met Chris Watts. She used witchcraft and spells to gain personal empowerment, spiritual growth, and a sense of control.
She's probably doing her magic wrong because she couldn't find a good quality guy.
Over her life. By claiming the power attributed to witchcraft, she was able to gain influence over other people for personal empowerment or for financial gain. During my research, I read a lot of stories about women sharing what brought them to witchcraft. Many shared about being in a dark place in that time in their life, about being tired, overwhelmed, uncomfortable, miserable. They had lost their joy and had feelings of giving up. And witchcraft pulled them out of that darkness. This is likely true for Nicole Kessinger. Nicole was a rebellious teenager. At a young age, she was drinking and smoking, partying. She was arrested for disorderly conduct after an incident where she disobeyed a police officer. She honestly could have been charged with a lot more.
And all charges were dropped.
The police officer had to use his baton to break through the glass door after Nicole instructed all of her friends not to let them in. This type of behavior will get you nowhere fast. Her life wasn't going well, headed straight for the gutter. We could argue that it was her troublesome teenage years that brought her to witchcraft, because something caused a pretty quick turnaround. She did a complete 180 and decided to be smart and further her education. She graduated from Colorado State University with a Bachelor of Science in 2013. She also has an Associate of Science degree focused on geological and earth sciences from the Community College of Aurora. Did witchcraft play a role in shaping her destiny?
I don't know.
Maybe it was when she started studying science and the earth, and she began discovering the use of Earth's energy to manifest her dreams in life. She spent her early adult years building her craft. As a baby witch, she likely started very simple. Beginners typically master the art of protection spells. She probably did a lot of research. We all know how big she was on reading.
But I did tell.
That's why I know that she's watching us kind of thing, because she Googles everything.
Him, just read. Like, that's what I always used to tell him. Just read. Reading is so good for you.
She would have learned about pentacles and pentagrams, casting a circle, grounding, shadow work. Beginners experience more luck, improved health, stronger intuition, being more open-minded. They feel like they gain control over their life, personal power, sense of peace, feeling grounded, connected to self and nature, and they feel protected. She would have needed to choose a path. What type of magic did she want to do? Crystal magic, herbal magic? And so at this point in her life, things were probably going pretty good for her, except for in the relationship and love departments. She had many failed relationships. Before meeting Chris Watts, she was with an abusive man. She found herself having to escape that relationship by going into hiding. I believe this is when she got more intensely involved in magic in order to manifest love in her life. She was on the prowl looking for a love interest to test her newly discovered
love spells are considered dark magic. Interesting.
Practices to put her power to use and manifest a husband. I believe she crossed paths with Shanann in 2017 when she Googled her and Chris, and she saw all of the qualities that she had been looking for in someone else's husband.
He was like very open with communicating with me if there were any like differences on how we saw things or just like open-minded about things. It was actually, I personally thought it was kind of unique, because usually most of the men that I've ever met are typically very closed off, and I didn't get that from him.
She realized she was educated in doing the work needed for a position at Chris Watts' workplace at Anadarko. What do people use magic in? The weaknesses in Chris and Shanann's marriage. Shanann was a busy lady.
Don't mind the hair and everything. I'm a hot mess today. Been cleaning. I'm getting ready to bring up all the Christmas decorations, which is a lot.
Trying to juggle being a mom, a homemaker, a wife, a working stay-at-home mother.
Definitely have been super busy over this way. Trying to get everything situated between school, with the girls. They were sick last week. That kept me really busy.
Naturally, it's hard to divide your time and energy equally 24/7. Manipulative people will often look for weaknesses and exploit them when it suits them most. Nicole Kessinger, being a witch, allegedly, who is already naturally manipulative and very good at reading emotions, could easily identify the insecurities and fears of a weak-minded person like Chris Watts. And I've often wondered if Shanann Watts was also targeted by Nicole Kessinger. Did she do something to try to weaken Shanann, to try to bring her down, make her feel less confident?
He said
do you know her name at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay saying her name?
It's Shanann.
All right. And do you know the children's name?
Yes, it's Bella and Celeste.
Okay.
Very well. I'll bide my time.
She knows the name because she Googled it.
True, I can't attend you here and now as I'd like, but just try to stay out of my way. Just try. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Oh, rubbish.
I'm not seeing much difference in The Wizard of Oz and Nicole Kessinger. I don't know about you guys in The Wicked Witch of the West, but...
I have no power here. Be gone before somebody drops a house on you, too.
Remember, the trip kept getting extended. First, it was supposed to be only a couple of weeks, then it turned into 6 weeks. She had this rare opportunity of 100% free alone time with her new man, a fully committed husband and father. I just don't know if I believe that was a coincidence.
Implant thoughts into their mind.
Shanann was the one who chose her unborn son's name, and she almost named him after the mistress of her husband. Nico Lee sounds a lot like Nicole Lee.
It does.
It's just too weird.
It's not even like a coincidence.
You can't be a practitioner or a witch and not know who Aleister Crowley is. Crowley. I think I've been saying it both ways. Oops. If you research the O.T.O, you'll come across the name Aleister.
I've researched the O.T.O, and I just was like, I need to not look into this because it got dark. Like, we're talking dark. And I'm just like, I just want to stay away from this.
Crowley, known as the wickedest man, supernaturally evil, the man who spoke to demons. He was an English occultist, a ceremonial magician. He identified himself as a prophet. He is the one who added the K to the word magic. With Nicole being a researcher at heart, did she discover Aleister Crowley's workings? Did she study any of his books?
No, but I did tell him, just read. Like, that's what I always used to tell him. Just read. Reading is so good for you. I always tell him, like, I tell people to read about everything. Reading is so good for you.
Secret societies dedicated to seeking wisdom have existed in all ages and cultures, from the birth of the tribesman and the dervish to the elaborate ceremonies of the Freemason. The aim is the same: the programmed alteration of consciousness within a group setting. In 1895, Carl Kellner, a wealthy Australian industrialist and paper chemist, as well as a high-grade Mason, founded the O.T.O. He met 3 men while he was traveling who instructed him in specific magical practices. The order was first proclaimed in a publication in 1902. After Kellner's death, Theodore Royce became the leader of the O.T.O, and in 1912 it was published and announced that the order taught the secret of ritual magic. After that announcement, as you might imagine, they experienced a reasonably steady growth. In 1912, the historic meeting between Rouse and Crowley occurred. Crowley wrote that Royce came to him and accused him of revealing order secrets. When Crowley responded that he had no idea what Royce was talking about, Royce opened to a chapter in the Book of Lies. When Crowley looked at it, the interpretation of magic unfolded itself to him for the first time. Royce appointed Crowley as supreme and holy king of all the English-speaking world. Then in 1922, Royce resigned as outer head of the order after suffering a stroke and named Crowley his successor.
Aleister Crowley, the man who called himself the Beast 666, black magician, drug fiend, sex addict, and traitor to the British people.
I want none of your faint approval or faint dispraise. To hell with Christianity.
Nicole Kessinger used a lot of odd phrases. She called her home a nest and talked about going to a safe house.
Yep, that too.
She used the quote, "Love does not
murder. Love does not murder. Hate and resentment murder. Hate and resentment murder." That's the way I look at that.
Order of operations.
And like, I honestly do not remember the order of operations on all of this, but I'm pretty sure. I honestly do not remember the order of operations on all of this. Different from his standard operating procedure. Because whether his wife is home.
And asked the question, how long has he been in this paradigm shifting?
How long has
his brain been like shifting to this paradigm shift where he feels the need to do this? It's like,
it took me a minute to find this word because I had never heard it before. I wasn't sure how to spell it. It's definitely not a word that was a part of my vocabulary.
How long has his brain been like shifting to this paradigm?
Kessinger might have been familiar with it because it was a phrase created by a philosopher of science. And it basically means a transformation. When your way of thinking is changed to a new and different way of thinking. With magic, you can send your dream lover straight to your doorstep. Someone who has had a love spell cast.
I highly doubt that because I've been hoping and praying that Kate Beckinsale comes to my front door, and I still have not seen her come to the front door. So I'm apparently doing it wrong.
Cast on them may experience mood changes, unusual feeling of happiness and satisfaction. Love and lust spells can have the target dreaming about them, steering their growing attention and attraction towards them.
Which he was.
Love spells will have the target smelling the other person. They might hear a low-toned voice calling their name.
Christopher.
They may experience insomnia.
Which I don't know if it's like an insomnia thing or what.
People being targeted by a love spell may find themselves struggling to get even the slightest of sleep.
I don't think I was probably sleeping more. 3 hours a night. It felt like I was working out all day, even though I wasn't. Which I don't know if it's like an insomnia thing or what. But like I wasn't sleeping. I mean, even Nikki said that like, you know, I'd fall asleep on the couch, on her couch while I was talking to her, and then like pick back up like I never knew I fell asleep.
Love spells could be tempting when you want a specific individual to fall for you, but you should be careful because a spell should be cast in the right way. It can be dangerous if negative thoughts sneak in. Love spells work through intention manifestation. The spellcaster should always be careful of what they want and be sure that their motives are positive and loving. Love spells can backfire. The negative energy you might use to cast a spell comes back threefold in a negative way. It's a bad idea to do magic to break up couples, no matter how you may feel the need to end up with your dream lover.
I got chills. I don't know about you guys.
To me, Kessinger seemed to be a deep thinker. She spoke almost like a philosopher. While reading through some discussion forums, I thought it was very interesting. People were saying that one of the things that O.T.O members are encouraged to do is read.
Just read. Like, that's what I always used to tell them. Just read. Reading is so good for you.
In these forums, the question was asked about joining the O.T.O, and are they dangerous? Some answered no, they are not dangerous, as long as you can handle a little bit of rituals and magic shenanigans. Some suggested that they are just strong-minded people who played a little bit too much Dungeons and Dragons. Then some went on to say that members of the O.T.O were power-hungry and abusive. They suggested that if you associate with these people, you need to have situational awareness and proper psychological and behavioral boundaries.
Oh boy.
One writer shared his experience with possibly joining the O.T.O. He writes, "In order to become a member, a person has to go through a lot of trouble to seek them out. Many people who study the occult do not take their interest this far. The group doesn't do initiations often. They do not aggressively recruit people. If you don't want to be there, they don't want you there. When I went to a meeting, the first thing they told us was, 'We didn't look for you. What is it you expect to gain?' They do take dues from members. When he was there, it was $75 for the main organization and another $75 for the local group per year. He shared that he did not have the money at the time, so he ended up not joining. He also said that the rumors of this group being a part of a conspiracy to control the world are not true. He also said that the higher-ups didn't appear particularly rich, and nobody seemed to be ruling the world. But, in my opinion, if their teachings are based on Aleister Crowley's work, then it's quite disturbing and very scary.
What if she had a voodoo doll of Chris?
So be my grave without a name, that earth may swallow up my shame.
His belief system was basically all about liberation, no restrictions, follow your heart, follow your goal in life, and do that above all else. Thelema teaches that people should have the freedom to do whatever they want. The Lemite should strive to ascend to higher states of existence, uniting oneself with higher powers and understanding and embracing one's true will, their ultimate purpose and place in life. One of his books, the Book of Law, which served as the basis for the magic system he dedicated his life to, was written as a result of him believing he had telepathically contacted and communicated with an Egyptian god. He claimed the voice dictated to him the Book of the Law. He named his daughter after a Greek goddess associated with magic, witchcraft, the moon, spells, the night.
What? Jezebel? Oh my gosh, this can't be
Aleister Crowley was married and had a family, but he also had many mistresses and prostitutes. He is potentially the most infamous practitioner of dark magic. He became interested in mysticism and the occult. He rebelled against his Christian upbringing, causing his mother to dub him the Beast. He indulged in drug-taking and sexual experiments. He studied ancient traditions involving yoga. He developed an interest in invoking demons. In all the rituals he performed, he had failed to communicate with a demonic entity. He believed this was necessary to become a supreme master of the occult who could harness the powers of darkness. He once tried to perform a ritual to open the gates of hell, summoning the devil himself. While doing this, he saw a blinding white light and realized that
have we not watched Supernatural?
Can be used as a sacrament in praise of the gods.
Well, and it seems as though, and again, it's hard to talk about, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but it also seems, is it accurate to say that this is what I would like, this is what I'm into, or blah, 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 and maybe not what you know?
5 times a day.
No, Nikki just wanted, she wanted what she wanted. She wanted what she wanted. She wanted to do it pretty much all the time. She wanted to do it pretty much all the time. Pretty much all the time. I was like, okay.
Interesting.
He believed was a shortcut to go straight in to achieve whatever you wanted to achieve magically. He united and magic into one occult vision. They performed rituals under the influence of hashes, opium, and cocaine. They had a dog named Satan.
In 1920, Aleister Crowley.
So they literally were like, come on, Satan, give me, boy, give me. Like, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
Crowley founded a commune in Sicily to practice the beliefs that he said would one day sweep away Christianity and free men from all restriction and repression. 3 years later, Mussolini deported Crowley and his followers from Sicily after reports of human and animal sacrifice. Unimaginable sexual depravity caused an international scandal. The British press called Crowley the wickedest man in the world.
It's believed that Crowley's house was cursed. Visitors were told, do not go inside.
It's open to the public. Remnants of okay.
I want none of your faint approval or faint dispraise. To hell with Christianity, rationalism, Buddhism. I want blasphemy, murder, revolution, anything bad or good, but strong.
If she'd adopted Crowley's belief system, it was you go after what you want, fulfill your needs, regardless of what anyone else thinks or feels.
Very clever.
A genius, for God's sake. A raving genius, you know. In a world of little tiny people, as Crowley saying, my God, why are you so unhappy? You want to make love? Well, make love, for Christ's sake. You want to take drugs? You want to expand your consciousness? Please do it.
Once she set her eyes on Chris Watts, nothing was going to stop her from going after him.
He wasn't out of the marriage that he was already in.
Right, so your concern was more about his prior marriage than his children?
I guess. I wasn't really that worried about him at the time.
Nicole wanted love in her life, but she felt like he might need a nudge in that direction to make it happen.
It wasn't even really the kids, it was that he'd already been married before, and I was just like, I don't know if I am in a long-term relationship with this guy, is that something he would eventually want? Because that's something I would eventually want, you know?
She wanted potentially what Shanann had?
Magic and mind games are strategically used together to gain an advantage and to influence someone on a greater level. Mind games create fear, causing them to question reality and degrade their trust in themselves and others. She was playing all sorts of mind games with Chris Watts. She would tell him, go be with your kids, then complain if she couldn't talk to him. She would say, go and fix things with your wife, but then get upset with him when he couldn't answer her calls. She did everything in her power, exhausted all of her resources to convince Chris to choose her, and it all seemed to be going smoothly until he started dragging his feet on getting himself an apartment and moving out of the house. This is when, in my opinion, Nicole Kessinger lost it.
And gave him the ultimatum.
I think she could feel him slipping away. She reached out to her spiritual advisor, who kind of looks like Aleister Crowley. A black magic spell may have been performed by Kessinger and her occult friends in order to speed up the process and make certain that this separation would.
Chris said that they literally were doing some weird stuff in the basement at his house in robes.
Happen. This would also make sense as to why all of her friends kept quiet and actually helped her hide, because nobody's going to want to admit that they were associated with any of this, especially if they're all a part of a secret society. They would have no problems keeping this quiet. Keeping secrets is what they do.
Kessinger was scared. Oh, bet she is. I think she still is.
It freaked me out. And I saw the interview that he had, and he just looked really different to me.
How so?
It's the scariest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. The light in his eyes is gone. The light in his eyes is gone. They're like a different color now. It's like he has no soul. It's like he has no soul. I swear to God.
The way that she says it.
I saw it and I was just like, look at his eyes.
It's like, yeah, I did that kind of thing.
I saw his mugshot. They're not even the same color. They're not even the same color. Like, when you guys retrieve the pictures that are on my phone, look at his eyes then compared to now. Like, it's the scariest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I started getting really scared. And, I kept telling him I was scared. I was really freaking scared. It made me, I just started getting scared. And I remember, telling him that throughout the whole day. I don't even know how many times I texted him that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, 8-10 times. Where I'm just like, I'm scared. Or I'm just like, I'm scared. It's the scariest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. It freaked me out. I was like, that's not even the same.
Or not knowing that she was able to change Chris to her want, and he was darker than she originally thought, maybe?
Man that I know. That's not even the same man that I know, and it was really uncomfortable.
She did something.
Let me just see how this plays out. Those texts, is very, very flattering to him, and all the nice things that I have to say about him. It was just that I wasn't 100% committed to him yet. I mean, I was monogamous with him. I wasn't seeing any other men, but I wasn't hey, this is the guy I want to spend the rest of my life with. And part of the reason that I was uncertain, yeah, he'd already built a life.
After the fact, when all of this sort of had time to marinate with Nicole Kessinger, she became very concerned with those Thrive patches that Chris had been wearing.
Some of the stuff they said about the Thrive patch, how it's not FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind.
Combining certain herbs is nothing to play around with.
Valentina knows which herbs to collect and how to.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the rest of the people that use Thrive with Lavelle, they're not murdering their families. So, yeah.
Store them. She collects cowberry in autumn with the first frost so that the grass is still green.
It can potentially be dangerous to combine certain herbs, especially if you're not even sure what herbs are in certain products. I think Kessinger may have started to wonder if any of the herbs Chris was consuming, combined with whatever herbs she had been putting in that tea, had caused this reaction in Chris that made him do this. I think at this point she was trying to figure out how this all went wrong.
You don't feel like they changed your personality or anything like that, though? Or do you?
I don't really know. I know that I just felt different on those than any other batch. It was... I feel like I could just go longer and longer each day.
It was probably mixing with whatever he drank with Nicole, and then he put the Thrive patch on, and it probably made some diabolical... No, I'm not going to give him the out. No, he did it.
And I'm not sure, like, if that was probably a bad thing. Some of the little subjects they put in there, like, yeah, I can relate to it, but, like, it doesn't make up for the fact what happened.
I legitimately think that man's cheese was sliding off of his cracker long before I came into his life. It's like, I just don't believe that's something that just happens in a day or 2 days. I don't think it happens in 2 months. I think that this is something that takes a very, very long time to develop, and I don't...
Right. So that scares you when you look back at it?
Yeah, because I think about it and I'm like, he could have had that capacity to do that whether I was in his life.
She's technically doing her own little manipulation with Kobach.
Or not. He could have had the capacity to do that, maybe not even just for them. It could have been me. It could have been our coworkers.
Has been hiding since August of 2018, but we saw her just recently. She was finally Uh-oh.
Thank you so much for coming out here. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me.
See you in another 6 years.
I'm glad that you're having a blast.
Seems like.
I am so out of breath. Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me. And I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Thanks for watching. We're done. Every star has its own nature. If you guys want to pause between those, you guys go through there. I don't want to read all this stuff because it's creepy.
I have exposed myself to every form of disease, accident, and violence. I have driven myself to delight in dirty and disgusting debauches, and to devour human excrements and human flesh. I have mastered every mode of my mind, and made myself a morality more severe than any other in the world. 1,000 years from now, the world will be sitting in the sunset of Crowleyanity.
The thing about Crowley was doing everything to absolute excess, pushing yourself to the absolute limit so you know at least where your limits are. So if you're going to do something that's depraved, you do something which is extremely depraved that even you feel disgusted at, and then try to learn to enjoy it.
Aleister Crowley declared the death of Christianity. He was to be the new Messiah that would replace the pallid dead Christ.
I believe he was the real thing. He had given himself under control. He was...
Very clever.
Boy.
Genius, for God's sake. A raving genius, you know.
Scary stuff. Yeah, there is evidence, apparently. But yet, no way does it take away any accountability on his behalf. It just makes you angry. Clips of Kessinger's interviews. I'd like to see what clips she's put in.
So Charlotte is your friend. She's your closest friend.
Yep.
You guys had this conversation, but it never went anywhere besides her and you. You never mentioned it to Chris. You never said anything about your kids, or his kids, pardon me, damaging your guys' relationship. Or nothing like that.
Never. And I mean, even in that, it wasn't like I never said his kids were a problem. It's just like he already has a life. I don't know about that.
So in light of what's occurred, though, what I'm trying to make sure is that there was never a conversation that you guys had that he might have thought that you were saying, I can't be with you if you have kids.
I wouldn't be with him if I couldn't.
Okay. So I'm just making 100% sure that those...
I promise you.
Okay.
Like, well, I really want you to pull these texts because all the stuff I've been telling you will, like, sync up.
And I hope we can... I haven't been very lucky with your phones yet. There's been nothing but pain. So this one's going with you.
Okay, I think...
Jeez.
I know, this is a task. I'm gonna... Some of these might be duplicates, but whatever. I'm gonna send these.
See, he's trying to see what she's doing.
No, that was kind of something between, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna go tell the whole world, like, hey, I've got this guy, and, you know, I'm gonna take in his kids, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and it wasn't because I had any problems with them. It's just... I know.
Yeah, weird, okay, but you're the one Googling butt stuff and three-ways and the PH website and more. Yet he was the weird one?
The context of that text now, like looking at it looks so bad.
You have to look at it from the perspective that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And how it could be misconstrued or made out to sound something another way. That's why I wanted to give you the opportunity to say what it really means. Okay.
No, I don't mean any harm towards those kids. I always thought they were so cute when he showed me those pictures. He was all about them, you know, and not only that, but it's like once you guys get those texts, you will see, like, there's not very much.
She stated, what did it say? With kitchen witchcraft and basically use simple spells to improve her
mention of his children. And if
life.
there is mention of his children, it's always like cute stuff where it's like, hey, you should show them this, or hey, this apartment's great for them, or, you know, what do you think about beds? And, you know, like, they...
As her problem life got more complicated, her magic practices progressed into something dark.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was so cute. Like, he would call his little daughter, the younger one, ZZ, call her Rampage. He's like, she's wild, and it used to just make me...
She discovered Aleister Crowley's work and aligned herself with others
Smile,
who follow his
my
practices.
little sister was totally Rampage. And it just kind of, like, fall on, you know? And so, like...
After discovering her magic wasn't strong enough
think, like, okay,
to fully control Chris Watts as quickly as she wanted.
You guys are going through a divorce at the same age that I was at when my parents went through a divorce. And it's like, how did I handle that? You know, and I tell them, like, you know, this is what happened when my parents separated and we were this
Makes sense. She reached out to more experienced practitioners, aka the spiritual advisor, to create a black magic spell.
And all of that doesn't mean that I'm ready to turn around and, like, commit everything.
Did he ever say anything like that? Like, do I have to get rid of my kids? Or do I, you know...
This shocked me just as much as I...
Strong enough to make Chris Watts quickly turn completely against his wife, his children, and the life he had created with them. I mean, it would make sense why he not necessarily snapped, but completely changed from the loving husband and a father of two and one on the way, completely opposite side, into a complete, nasty, annihilating monster of his family.
I think it shocked the rest of the world. All of it. Like, he lied so much. Now I go back and think about all this shit, and I'm like, it's lies. Everything that they knew about him was like lies. I mean, his friends let him stay the night.
Because of all the emotions involved, the whole thing backfired, and 4 innocent lives were lost.
At their house, he even fooled them. It's not just me. He lied to everybody. He had
and she
all
don't care.
And everybody stood up for him. His friends stood up for him. I really thought she left. I was like, let her fucking go. You know, she'll come back today. She'll get right. Let her cool down. She'll be here. It'll be okay. You know, like, have me convinced. Like, I think she's just upset. And then, never. What I guess. I mean, even now, when I go back through this stuff, that I'm like, it doesn't make sense, you know, or it, like, seems a little off. That stuff still doesn't send a red flag to me, like, hey, this guy's gonna murder his family.
Sure. I don't think there was any, you didn't have any indication, and by all accounts, it doesn't seem like anybody did.
No, I just, like, you know, sometimes I, like, try not to think what that man is thinking, because, like, you don't know, you know, but it's like, how long has his brain been, like, shifting to this paradigm shift where he feels the need to do this? It's like...
Whenever you started messing with the black arts.
I just don't believe that's something that just happens in a day or 2 days. I don't think it happens in 2 months. I think that this is something that takes a very, very long time to develop. I don't know.
Right. So that scares you when you look back at it?
Yeah, because I think about it and I'm like, he could have had that capacity to do that whether I was in his life or not. He could have had the capacity to do that, maybe not even just for them. It could have been me. It could have been our coworkers. I mean, the more I think about it.
He didn't fall in love with their coworkers.
I mean, I think a lot of people are going to probably assume that I was the catalyst for his movement. But
you were.
But I don't think, not me like instructing him, but him deciding to do that because he had me in his life and because he was so like infatuated with what we had going on. But like I try to put the reason to it at the end, like why would you wipe out your family to be with me? Like it doesn't like compute. It's like how would that go? Like, hey, my family just disappeared, and you think that I'm gonna just not be concerned about that? And not only that, like he was so about the little girl, and I always try to like push him to do that. Like I told you, like every day where like he would want to come over my house after work. I'd be like, no, go hang out with your kids. Your kids are home. Like that was me. It wasn't even him. That was me pushing that. And he would go do it.
Like she's
and he spent time with them. But even like, oh, I don't want to hang out with them. He'd just be like, can I see you for a few hours? And I'm like, if your kids are awake, go hang out with your kids. If they're sleeping and you want to talk, you call me, but don't do that while they're up. Let's spend time with them. And I just, oh my God. And that
the difference between this interview, where she just is like off the handle, she's over extenuating her arms and she's being very boisterous, but then in the interview with her father, she just seems more conservative, more like put back. I see a different person in both.
That is the part that I have like the hardest part swallowing, where it's like, why would you take them out to spend time with me? Like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all.
Mm-hmm. But you said he was infatuated with you.
They both
did what was inevitably about to happen, but I don't think people just snap. Love does not murder. Love does not murder. Hate and resentment, murder. Hate and resentment, murder.
Hate and resentment murders when it's coming out of her mouth.
That's the way I look at that. I do not know what is the truth anymore and what's not, and I don't have all of the details, but this is just my opinion, but I'm pretty convinced. And I honestly do not remember the order of operations on all of this, but I'm pretty sure. I honestly do not remember the order of operations on all of this.
Did you ever give him books or articles or anything to read? Did you ever provide anything to him like that? There's all sorts of publications and books out there.
No, but I did tell him. I tell people to read about everything. Reading is so good for you. I think that you should take the time to read some articles, because he was getting ready to do it, and it would be like.
And yet he threw the book that Shanann gave him on marriage counseling. He threw it away.
And I would tell him, I was like, there's pros and cons to it, but at the same time, it was just read. That's what I always used to tell him. I'd always tell him I tell people to read about everything. Reading is so good for you.
So he...
and I was just like, why? Fix this. Find a way to fix this, and I was trying to push him to do it, and he seemed pretty reluctant to do it. He didn't want to. I was trying to push him to do it. He didn't want to. I really wanted him to try. I wanted to know that he tried and it didn't work. He got himself into a situation with somebody else.
Kidding me?
I just thought he had a beautiful life going on, and he could have made it work.
And she wanted it.
Don't worry about us. That is more important. Try to see if you can salvage whatever it is that you have going on with your wife. I always got the impression that he was a great father to his kids, always. And he just, we kind of talked about it off and on for a few weeks, and I was just kind of I don't know. I think I was kind of cold feeting about it after I went over his house. I was just let me just see how this plays out. I couldn't sleep again. It was really bad. And I woke up in the morning and I saw the interview that he had with the newspapers. And he just looked really different to me.
How so?
The light in his eyes is gone. The light in his eyes is gone. They're a different color now. It's he has no soul. It's he has no soul. I swear to God. I saw it and I was just look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. I saw his mugshot. They're not even the same color. They're not even the same color. When you guys retrieve the pictures that are on my phone, look at his eyes then compared to now. It's the scariest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. It's the scariest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. It freaked me out. I was that's not even the same man that I know. That's not even the same man that I know. And it was really uncomfortable.
What are you thinking? What were you thinking, that he maybe did something to his family?
Yeah, I started getting really scared.
What caused that
The
thought?
fact that he lied to me.
Okay.
Oh, and like I kept telling him I was scared. I was really freaking scared. It made me, like, I just started getting scared. And I remember, like, telling him that throughout the whole day. Like, I don't even know how many times I texted him that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 8-10 times. Where I'm just like, I'm scared. Or I'm just like,
she was scared of getting caught, man.
I'm scared. And one of the last texts that I sent to him, too, I told him, I said, I'm scared because I feel like I don't know who you are anymore. And he's like, I didn't hurt my family, Nikki. And that was, like, the last text. That was the last time we ever talked. And I never said another word to him after that. I mean, I, like, just try to keep him calm. And then I told him, like, contact me once they find your family. Because I don't really think I was that alarmed on Monday. Monday night, like, I called him back.
You weren't alarmed, but then the next interview you said you couldn't sleep that night because you were so worried for the family to return?
In the middle of the night. Because I could not sleep. I could not sleep at all. And then, and I kept asking him too, like, what did you do, Chris? What did you do? And he was like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, where's your family? But I was still, like, in my head, just kind of, like, stressed out. And I remember I, like, walked out of the room, went in my bedroom, and texted Chris one more time. And I told him, I was like, if you did something bad, I was like, you're going to ruin your life. And I was like, and if you did something bad, I was like, you're going to ruin my life. And I was like, and I promise you that. And he responded back to me, and he's like, I didn't hurt my family, Nikki. And that was, like, the last text. That was the last time we ever talked. And I never said another word to him after that. And then he left me alone. He gave me the space that I asked him. He respected it. I don't know. We were still...
He was kind of in trouble, so...
seeing each other fairly frequently, but I kind of, like, backed away so we weren't hanging out quite as much, and we were still close. Like, I really wanted him to try. Like, I wanted to know that he tried, and it didn't.
Said no mistress ever.
Didn't work, and then he moved on. Not that, you know, they both kind of tried, and then he got himself into a situation with somebody else. And
not him.
Right? I mean, I think he was legitimately sleeping in the basement, and I didn't think that these two were, I mean, I think it was like, hey, we're both stuck in this house for now. We got to sell this. In the meantime, you live here, I live here. We sleep. Like, I figure if you're upset for a day, you leave for a day, but you come back. And she wasn't back. And it was like midday. And not only that, but like, she doesn't have her phone. She doesn't have her car. She doesn't have the kids' EpiPen. She doesn't have any of that. So what I'm thinking in my head is like, for a night, if you're really upset, somebody comes one of your friends picks you up, like, okay. But I can't explain that for 2 days. Like, that just doesn't, like, logically process in my mind as something that any woman I know would do. The one-night thing, I know women that would do that. But the two-night thing, no. And so I'm like, she's still not back. And he just lied to me. And, like, he said that she was, like, on board with...
Who believes this crap?
...this because she wanted it too. Like, she was checked out of this relationship. So that was, like, how he made this sound. With that, it was, like, a very, like, kosher, we're done kind of thing. The cops are here? Why would this girl call the cops? The cops are here.
Just the context.
Yeah, the cops are here. The cops are here. I'm
She's like, crap, my whole plan is fooled.
All right. And I'm like, why would this girl call the cops? And then...
Oh my gosh, it just makes you so angry. Definitely a good job. Good job. Well, you did a great job, Crime Catalyst. I'm hoping for a fourth video. Let her know that she's doing a fantastic job. Go over there, give her some love, subscribe, comment, like, and share. You know the deal. Definitely is very scary to think about the whole O.T.O and Aleister Crowley and her ties in there and so forth. I think it's funny that when she says, like, I was writing down some quotes that she said, and the hate and resentment murders, not love. I mean, she has hate for Shanann and stuff like that. Does she have resentment? Probably. She wanted to be Shanann. And the whole thing with NK being scared, yeah, she's being scared. She's scared to get caught. So she was trying to get everything out that tied her in with it. It just makes me so angry. Even watching this more, it's just... How does that saying go? trying to think about that saying, that we have all this evidence with all the YouTubers, the Facebookers, the TikTokers, and nobody wants to grab at it and say, yeah, something was messed up. We need to go look at this again. And nobody's doing anything. I can't do nothing. I'm just some Joe Schmo behind a computer and a keyboard and mouse. Nothing that I do is going to make a difference. I mean, this is as much as I can do, as I can watch, react, put my opinion on there and so forth. But is it enough? I'm hoping something comes out, because I feel that we're at a standstill and we're out of bullets. And we can't quick draw because we're out. And the next evidence will be that bullet that we can fire, and hopefully it hits the target and we can bring in NK. I don't know if that was a good analogy or not, but I'm trying to be one with myself. Don't forget to put your thoughts and your opinions all down in the comments. I love to read them. I can't get to all of them, so just bear with me. Again, go over to Crime Catalyst, give her some love. Don't forget to share with your friends. Subscribe, hit the like button, and the bell icon. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Keep it real, keep it safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.